All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Relief Valve podcast. I'm recording this episode for X, YouTube, and Rumble, and then we're live on Kick because I can't put pre recorded videos on there unless they're like clips. So, I'm looking to expand and move over to Kick. I appreciate any new followers that we get over there. So, we are talking about the UFO files today. They have been released, and in my personal opinion, for the most part, they're a nothing burger. It's like the Epstein files. It's crap that we already knew that has already been circulated in the UFO community for years. The newest stuff, I haven't gone through all of the files. Some of the newest UFO stuff is these pictures that have allegedly been. There's a shadow of the moon rover right there. I don't. Is it possible for there to be a shadow when you're on the moon at that time? Genuine question. I'm not an astronaut. I don't know. But these are supposed to have been taken from the Apollo 17 moon landing in 1972, where the astronauts are claiming that they were being watched by orbs. Again, we're back to the fucking orbs. So aliens or orbs, they're energy entities. I don't understand what this means. Here's another one right here. Here's another shot that they took while on the lunar surface. You see a shadow right here, like it's one of the astronauts. It's very thin, so you don't see all of his gear. Again, wasn't there. I can't verify that. These were never shown before to the general public, so you're seeing them now, and there's no way to know if they've been doctored. So Area 4, Area 1, Area 2, and 3, and 5, they're all showing you orbs or lights that are watching them while they're on the moon. Here is another one here. It looks like you can see the astronaut's gear. You can see a helmet. You can see his backpack here and the suits, the large kind of unwieldy gloves and stuff. So they're in the gear for whatever that's worth, and they're taking picture of, again, more lights and orbs. I mean, that could be anything. It could be a spatial distortion. It could be an effect of particles in space. I mean, there is nothing that stands out to me in this picture that tells me that they're being watched by an alien entity. I mean, a orb of light. Now, they are broken up into 17 different categories. I did a couple here. Again, this is the first batch. This is what's been released, and more are supposed to be coming. So this is some of the stuff that you get when you're reading through this. This was like, I think maybe page one, some examples in the first part of the list. So April 30th, 2001. Hi Dan, John Cipher and I look forward to seeing you on Friday at 3:30 p.m. in your office. John, you probably recall is an actor who starred on Hill Street Blues and Major Dan, among many other TV shows. Broadway. Wish you could hear him sing The Impossible Dream, which he sang on Broadway and La Mancha and movies. He also is a scholar and sings opera in 4 languages and speaks eloquently about space. We've been married for 15 years. Since I closed down the Institute for Security and Cooperation in Outer Space a few years ago, which I founded in '83, we've both been searching for our role in promoting the space program. As you know, a spokesperson for von Braun during the last years of his life, he had me to commit to finding the path to open the doors of space. With this full unlimited vision, I think I found a way. We're bringing you a package. It will give you the idea. Don't worry, it won't cost you a NASA a dime. It will only take as much as you want, even just a few short minutes, as I know you're busy. But it's going to be worth this trip to hand this to you in person. Also, we'd love to take you and your lunch. I mean, the photo was taken at the U.S. Space Foundation, where we're keynote speakers. I mean, what's happened here is a lot of this UFO defense and what we should prepare for. An independent report on UFOs written by the French Association Cometa. How we should be prepared for the UFOs and the fucking trainees that are there. This report details the results of a study by the Institute of Higher Studies for National Defense. This paper originally appeared in a special issue of the magazine published in France in 1999, UFOs in Defense, the Cometa Report. It is not looked on highly in certain scientific circles to be preoccupied with phenomena that are deemed to come under the heading of popular mythology or that are, at any rate, outside the realm of science. Such was the case with stones falling from the sky, which was long considered in our country to be stuff of fable. However, the day that the meteorite shower over the town of Laï permitted a collective and indisputable observation and entered into the domain of science. 1 century later, NASA, yada, yada, yada. So a lot of this in here is, and again, this is just going on. This one file that I clicked is pages upon pages of just random fucking garbage. This was something from the Daily Mail. Where's my regular page? Okay, so this is how it's broken down. You go into the U.S. Department of War /UFO. You start here, okay? You go to page 1. There are 17 pages total, and all of them are lined up here, and you get a not fully explained amount in each one until you click it. There are PDFs. If you go further on, you get this one isn't, but the other ones I want to say in 16 were some videos. We'll go to 3, we'll go to 5, we'll go to 7. We got to keep going until we get there. So let's go to 15. We've got images from 15. Images are, again, this is, so they digitally enhanced the pictures that I showed you about the Apollo 12 and Apollo 17 missions. Okay, this looks apparently like an original, so it's much more difficult to see. I mean, the article photograph depicts the lunar surface as viewed from the landing site of Apollo 12. This image features 2 highlighted areas of interest labeled Area 1, Area 2, slightly to the right of the vertical axis of the frame above the horizon in which identified phenomena are visible. The image has been modified from its original state to assist viewers in identifying specific areas of interest. These highlights are provided for contextual purposes only. Such alterations do not constitute an analytical judgment, investigative conclusion, or factual determination regarding the nature or significance of the subject matter. So the only thing they're doing here is look at that. Okay, where's the Apollo 12? That's 17. Here's 12. There's 12. And that's a whole nother file folder. So you're looking at that, and then you're looking at that. Okay, that's some of the ones they're showing you between the two, where they have enhanced what they're seeing in primary photograph Apollo 12, 1969. So you can see next to nothing. Those, as far as here at Apollo 12, now the astronauts are claiming at the time when they're on the moon that they are seeing, or what they feel they are being observed by, orbs of light while they were on the moon. There was, I don't know if I misplaced it, there was I think there was an audio of them saying this, or the subject matter said that was what they were saying. And they've enhanced it here so you can see what they were seeing. But I mean, look, I want to believe as much as anyone. What about that? It tells me it's an alien. I don't see a spaceship. I don't see a distinct shape or hull or ship of any time. So their energy, their probes, like this could be spatial anomalies. Let's do another one. Apollo 12, 1969. Here's an original here. Our archival photograph depicts the lunar surface as viewed from the landing site of Apollo 12. This image features a highlighted area of interest slightly above to the left of the vertical axis of the frame, above the horizon in which identified phenomena are visible. The image has been modified from its original version, blah, blah, blah. That's them apparently on the moon. You see the lunar surface, you see their shadows, and in some places you can see that they are wearing their gear. So they got a backpack on, a helmet. You can see the large oversized gloves. So even if it's the one where they were filming it in a warehouse, depending on what you believe, at least they're properly dressed. Apollo 17, 1972, as part of the review of historical UAP materials under pursuit, DOW has opened a case to investigate the accompanying NASA photograph from the Apollo 17 mission taken December 1972. The image contains 3 dots in a triangular formation in the lower right quadrant of the lunar sky that is clearly visible upon magnification of the image. While this photo has been previously released and discussed by keen observers, there is no consensus about the nature of the anomaly. New preliminary U.S. government analytics suggest the image featured is potentially the result of a physical object in the scene. Additionally, as part of this investigation, the government has obtained the original film from the Apollo 17 mission, and the results of the full NASA and DOW analysis will be released when completed. So, again, the orbs. This shit, when it was on TikTok, the people in the fucking orbs, it drove me nuts. Everybody, I saw the orbs. I was on my phone and I was recording, and up here you just see at the top an orb passing by. I was like, oh my god, I couldn't. My fucking timeline was inundated with that shit. What is the orb? It's nothing. It could be when I look up like this, and then you get those little particles and little worms and shit that are floating around in your eyes, right? When you look up or you look to the side or you zone out or something and you see those things, are they aliens too? They're in my eyeball. This is nothing to me. This is nothing. I want to believe. But in order to be a real believer, and not be a crazy person, you have to be skeptical first. You have to analyze and cut these things down, and then reanalyze them again after you've gone through it, and then maybe you can offer a cohesive argument on what's really going on, and not seem like a crackpot. Unfortunately, from a lot of this, I'm not getting any of that at all. You are being watched at, or as in your field of vision, orbs of light. So the religious people are going to say these are angels watching you. The other side is going to say they're demons watching you. The other ones are going to say it's the orbs, it's the wonderful orbs. And then everybody else is going to try and say these are alien craft of some kind that are observing you from a distance. I mean, you are going to get the gambit. Okay, it's more crap, and another section, declassified May of 2007, Department of the Air Force Headquarters, United States Air Force Directorate of Intelligence, Washington, D.C. The purpose of the memorandum is twofold. Enunciate continuing Air Force requirements for information pertaining to sightings of unconventional aircraft and unidentified flying objects, including the so-called flying discs. To establish procedures for reporting such information, Department of the Army Collection Memorandum Number 7, dated 21 January 1948, and letter CSGID 4251, dated 25 March 48, both subjects above, which have been transferred to Air Force agencies for the superseded. To complete an answer to the requirements enunciated in Part 2, as may be procurable, should be dispatched by means of electronic. This is how they want information submitted. I mean, it's just gobbledygook fucking paperwork bullshit. I mean, it's restricted. Supplementary written reports prepared on AF Form 112 will be forwarded to the Director of Intelligence Headquarters, United States Air Force. Commanding General Air Material Command is authorized direct contact with major air commandos overseas and organizations under their control in connection with the development of information on this subject. Reports will be forwarded to the Commanding General. Reports. How to do day of sighting. This is what you have to do. Requirements. Day of sighting. Time of sighting. By zonal 24-hour clock. Where sighted. Observer's position. It's type of craft, speed, all direction of flight. I mean, this is in one of them. And here's why you're seeing some of this. And people are making mistakes. And they're making claims that things are things, and they're not things. They're talking about spaceships that have been sighted, and 4-foot aliens coming out of spaceships. What some of these people that are posting online are either missing or blatantly not telling you honestly is that what it is the FBI's or the Air Force's recounting of what a civilian told them they saw. That's the reason the file is in there. They did not personally witness the flying disc, the Air Force personnel or the FBI person. They went and they took a report from the person who said they saw what they saw. So, go to bookmarks here for 1 second. I do have something from, I'm already in bookmarks, never mind. See, now that's the people posting up. Now that's what I call a distraction from the Epstein files. Yeah, it's starting to look that way. Though I am glad that we have found the space bull. There you go. There's Jeremy. There's the wife. There's the space bull. So, honestly, guys, I'm running out of bulls. There's Surfer Bull. There's the Jew bull. There's the air bull. I mean, now we've got a space bull. I almost can't keep up with all the bulls anymore. This you can think of as you will is what I think this thing really is. Make of that as you will. So this one here, just to show you what is being propagated online. I've told everyone that watches this show and anyone that's following me, I'm not going to lie to you. I am not going to bullshit you. I am always going to give you the truth. And if I make a mistake, I'm going to correct it. So I start doing my homework before I come online and I start talking to everyone. Here's one where they are just posting shit as it is and assuming that it is completely legitimate. So this guy Truth Pole here with an alien head, breaking an interesting piece of newly released Pentagon UFO files that's in the 9th page of the first file. Master Kalen Lee Raton from the planet Corindor. A 1966 alien transmission claimed a being named Master Kalen Lee Raton from a planet called Corinador, which is almost like Korea, 400 light years away, had been secretly observing Earth. The message described these beings as spiritually evolved, technologically advanced, and deeply opposed to war, manipulation, and authoritarian control on humanity. And then he goes on to say, I hope this is a joke. Consider this could just be a literary piece. So he covers himself there because it is. But if not, here is the whole thing. What is this? A recounting of some asshole who claims he has special equipment in his house and he communicates with Mr. Kalen Lee Raton. Somebody else comes on to say, nice try. It's an article from these whack-ass magazines from morons that claim to have continual talks with physical aliens. Now, why is this in the UFO files? I'll explain it. I'll give you a comparison. A little while ago, Joe Rogan ended up showing up in the Epstein files. And then everyone was like, oh, I fucking knew it. Another elitist piece of shit that's in the Epstein. I fucking fuck Joe Rogan, boycott Joe Rogan. It turned out that the reason he was in the Epstein files was because he ended up interviewing at some point somebody that had an association with Epstein or was in his orbit. Secondly, his team had been contacted by Jeffrey Epstein's team, and Jeffrey wanted to be interviewed by Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan said, no, I'm not interviewing that creep. That referencing information was taken and then put in the Epstein files. So then people go, Joe Rogan's in the Epstein files. So the people that aren't paying attention, like this right here, where Kalen Lee Raton is actually what some asshole claims he's talking to from an old UFO magazine, is just a reference that has been made to a UFO phenomena. It has made it into the files because people said UFO and alien. If I called the FBI right now and I said that I saw an alien in my backyard the other day, I want to share my experience and give you information. They come over to my house. I give them a report. I tell them about what happened. They go back. They file it. A little while later, you will find me in the UFO files. That doesn't mean that that actually happened and this thing was actually real. And as I'm going through these files, a ton of this shit is exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, faggot alerts. You are seeing the best part of the UFO files right there. You are seeing recounts of people that they interviewed about these things that happened. So what's in their report is what the person told them happened. Okay? Here's one here. Somebody has made a supercut of all the UFO video that has been released. This is why I say in the heading, all of this video has been taken by a potato because, again, it's nothing. Look, little guy, little tic tac flying over the city right there. How much information are you getting from that right there? Did you get a whole bunch right there? Did you see all that there? Okay. Let's do another one here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It zipped through right there across that field over there. Did you get all that? You saw the flash. It zips by right here. It could be anything. It could have been a drone. Could have been a fucking missile. Okay, we've got a camera on an airplane here. There's no sound, by the way. It caught something. I didn't fucking see it. Something there. I don't know. We've got a ship now. Right there. There. It's zipping by them. It could be anything. This goes on for. They made the supercut and they did it for a half hour. All of these videos are little things just zipping by. There's nothing distinct that tells me that that is something that is giving us irrefutable proof. So that's blasting away. It's going faster than an airplane, faster than everything else. Okay, there's another one. Little guy right here. He's going through the clouds right here. They're still trying to track him. He's right here. I'm moving the cursor around him. They're trying to get him in the reticule here, like aiming at him. He's zipping around. Mr. Zippy having fun. Another fucking orb? I don't know. Here's another zipper. Another zipper right here. All of this image from on the airplanes. Shit fucking indistinguishable. The only thing you can say from these things, they're a shape that's not known to our regular military. They're also flying faster than what our military can. What could that be? I don't know. How much information can I get from this right here? He's zipping along. I also don't know what this plane's speed is relative to what this thing's speed is. This could be a predator drone that's following another object, another drone, or another plane. Who can, unless you have the details that you're not presenting here, how can you prove me wrong? So here's another little zipper. Zipping right over there, over the city. Little zipper. Little zipper. What did I get from that? Fuck all. That's what I got from that. So Alex Jones comes on here and he's making some good points. What have we gotten?
Released with the so-called UFO alien files, the first.
I don't want everybody to get their hopes up. I don't have a lot of faith in our government. President Trump's always been great to me. He's never lied to me, but I don't know that he knows the right questions to ask and the right people to talk to because, I mean, this thing's been covered up at least since 1947, and I just don't think they're going to, they don't give up that easy. The war pimps at the Pentagon and everybody else, they just don't give up that easy.
The Pentagon releases over and over again, a decade-old video of a F-18 pilot or whatever flying behind a tic-tac.
I know, the video that we get is like a baby who's been swaddled. There is no identifiable shape here. There's not the one that we're familiar with from books and sci-fi, the rounded saucer with the little bridge on top, something that would make more sense to our eyes as we're looking at it. There are no discernible shapes here at all. That could be, they could have superimposed a swaddled baby from the hospital, put it into this video, and it's like the plane is chasing it. Look at his little arms, and look at the swaddle all around here, right? He's swaddled up in that blanket. There's his head. There's his little arms. What says that's an alien?
This is what they released today. Oh my goodness, we've only seen this 85 billion times. So they knew on purpose. They're jerking our chain. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Oh my goodness.
This is not actually captured by them. This is an illustration, again, for anybody that's going on there and deceiving you. This is an illustration of what somebody said happened on their drive down the road when they saw something in a cornfield. They made an illustration of it. It was submitted into the files. It's viewable as information. Not necessarily real because the other person said so.
That's obviously, not fake. And then you read, it's, oh, this is just an artist rendering. Oh, wow. We get artist renderings. Man, this is amazing.
A White House official left this hard drive on my desk overnight. You can see on it, it says AARO files copy 203. That is the all domain resolution office copy 203. This is the first big batch of UFO disclosure ordered by President Trump. Some of the clips and videos on there have popped up different places before. Some of them have not. And we have been going through this all morning and overnight to try to put together some of the best videos so we can all look at this together. This is a world exclusive right here.
People are seeing this stuff everywhere. Giant fireballs during the day, during the night coming in over Texas. I mean, there's a lot of activity. Something's definitely going on. A lot of this is obviously human secret technology. We already know that. But why would the White House hype all this up and then release 10 videos, 3 of them are already out, of just Tic Tacs? I mean, we have color HD in New York and other areas of Tic Tacs flying around in between the buildings at, Mach 10.
Yeah, I remember.
And then making right angle turns. I mean, that's not technology the government admits we have, though we have a lot of evidence they do have it, which is very reminiscent of this disclosure with the Fox News host holding up the data card. We have it. We have the exclusive of early in the second Trump administration last year, holding up the binders. Remember that? Holding up the binders of Epstein. Oh, here, it's all here. It's been fully disclosed, and 98% of it was old. So, this is all very interesting, but we've seen thousands of videos like this. We were told, are the aliens real? Does the government have craft? Are they hiding them? And then now we get an old photo of Pentagon begins releasing new files on UFOs and says the public can draw its own collusion. And it's a stretcher with a body bag on it. A stretcher with a body bag. I mean, wow. Oh, look, Roswell, 1948, a body bag. Wow. Why don't you tell us what was in it?
Tall, that does not look correct. That looks like a full-size human being on a stretcher. Unless you've gone out of your way to double wrap this guy. You haven't show me unwrapped. Show me who's in there.
It's unbelievable. So they're jerking our chain yet again. The other day, I don't even blame Trump because the X-Protect group, from all the experts we talked to and astronauts, you name it, doesn't even ever let that information get to the president. He's compartmentalized, but this is a joke. Minutes I scanned over of them in MK Ultra, Jolly and West, 10,000 plus U.S. kids kidnapped, brainwashed, electroshocked, LSD, PCP, to be sex slave operatives and mind control assassins, which is all declassified. But they would have whole shows, interview victims and stuff, and they would have shows where the Apollo program every time. And people back on Earth were able to pick up the radio transmissions, and then they interviewed the astronauts. They go, no, that's real, that's true. They were being followed by flying saucers around the moon and by other craft. So in the early 90s, I'm watching Discovery and History, and these are confirmed. Then I get to meet some of the astronauts later, like Buzz Aldrin. He goes, no, that's all true. And we just put an article up and a video of him talking about being followed around by spacecraft. And there's all sorts of satellite footage I've seen for 30 years on air. We could go dig all this up of private satellites in space, with a camera, and you see the little Tic Tacs and flying saucers, doing Mach 30, flying around doing right angle turns in space. But instead, the Pentagon releases over and over again, oh, a decade-old video of a F-18 pilot or whatever flying behind a Tic Tac. This is what they released today. Oh my goodness, we've only seen this 85 billion times. So they knew on purpose, they're jerking our chain. But you got to ask, why are they doing this while all this fireballs and weird craft coming in? I mean, folks, I'm seeing all sorts of insane drones flying around. Not that I know are human, but then I'm seeing all sorts of other stuff that doesn't look human. I was out at Big Bend last year, and it's crystal clear skies, some of the darkest skies in North America. And you can see the satellites, they come across in just a straight line across the heavens above you. They just, satellites like, you can see it. Because the sun's striking it up there. See, you see the satellite, and there's another one, and then I'm sitting there, and I grab my phone, but it's, the human eye is so good, and I also have binoculars. Once I'm trying to get it on the camera, it's too dark, I can't get it, but I'm watching red lights and white lights way up, hundreds of thousands of feet, probably in space. I can't, and they're just like, and they're gone, and I'm just out there for like 5 hours. And my wife's like, aren't you coming to bed? I'm like, I can't stop. This is just insane.
So, he goes on for 43 minutes on this particular thing. I'm not saying that any of these people are wrong. The ones that are claiming that they saw a saucer, the others that are saying that they were part of an event. But I've only gone through the files a little bit. There is a fucking again. There is 17. There are 17 pages grand total with all of this in there, ranging from PDF files of our declassified written information. Some of it is gobbledygook and people yapping. And as I read to you, Apollo 17 crew debriefing. Apollo 17 was the ninth crew U.S. mission to the moon and the sixth to land astronauts on the lower surface. This document is an excerpt from the Apollo 17 crew debriefing for Science on January 8th, 1973, in which Dick Henry here, and I know what I saw and I saw what I know, co-investigator on the ultraviolet experiment on Apollo 17, discusses seeing results that were unexpected. Pages 119 to 120. One of the most exciting results of X-ray astronomy was the fact that X-ray background was observed over the sky that nobody expected. Part of this is the gamma ray background that Dr. Trumka talked about, and the UV nobody knows, but you never know until you look. You do have to deal with this background of stars that we know is there, so we did look at a large number of different points at high galactic latitudes, both north and south. The spectrum that we see is above this dark count. In other words, this abnormally high dark current did not, in fact, interfere with the experiment. The spectrum that we see looks like the spectrum of the hot star. However, we know that there were no hot stars within our field of view. Therefore, the most conservative interpretation, I think, is that we were seeing is light from hot stars in the galactic plane going up out of the plane and reflecting off interstellar dust. There are certain characteristics of the spectrum, though, that don't fit that theory, and it's at least possible that this is extragalactic radiation. I'm looking forward very much to the detailed computer study of this, but it's going to take a very long time. So he's saying that some stars, which are suns in other galaxies, in other planetary solar systems, you can see them normally. At the time that you can't, the lights that you are getting are reflecting off of solar dust, and that is the reason that you are getting the light that would not normally show up during that regular time. So the orbs and the shit that they were getting there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in space that we don't fully understand. Solar winds, particles that he's referencing, all stuff that we haven't fully cataloged yet. We only have basic ideas of it. So those lights are other stars that are reflecting off solar dust. And then you're on the moon and you're seeing, I'm being watched by orbs at a time when I shouldn't be able to see the suns of other solar systems right now currently. Okay, well, he just explained that could potentially be one of the other suns farther off reflecting off the solar dust and et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't mean that the orbs were alien probes. So the Daily Mail puts this up. FBI files reveal reports of, and this is in the files, of 4-foot-tall beings emerging from UFOs. Newly released FBI files have revealed shocking details of mysterious 4-foot-tall crewmen exiting a UFO in the 1960s. The documents, released Friday as part of the Trump administration's UFO disclosure, detailed how investigators reviewed reports that 1965 marked the year of the greatest number of UFO sightings. Mark that, okay? Reviewed reports. Number sightings. They didn't see it themselves. People said they saw. Observed by multiple witnesses across the world. Multiple witnesses. Not the FBI. Not NASA. Not the military. The FBI summarized reports of metallic craft capable of hovering silently, reaching fantastic speeds, and interfering with electromagnetic equipment. That's a commonality between them and now in these orbs and stuff interfering, or pillboxes, whatever, interfering with nuclear silos and shutting them down. In some reports of planes that were trying to go after them, their weapons were shut down and their systems were disrupted. They have to make an emergency landing. There's military reports about that from other countries. I think one was in Russia. One might have been in either Israel or Kazakhstan or something, one of those other countries. One of the most startling sections involves testimonies, not them personally, not the government personally seeing it, testimonies, or admitting to it for that matter, of encounters with apparent occupants of the craft. A few witnesses have reported seeing crewmen who had landed from the objects, the document stated, describing the beings as 3.5 to 4 feet tall. So we're talking about the Greys here, wearing what appear to be spacesuits and helmets, though another account says they were humanoid, but only 4 feet tall. So in the future, we shrink. The FBI records were among hundreds of newly released files, photographs, and videos published Friday under President Donald Trump's long-awaited UFO Transparency Initiative. Hundreds of records, photos, and videos were uploaded to the Department of War's website, including NASA mission transcripts, military incident reports, and infrared images captured during aerial encounters. Here's a little bit of one of those. This is just a mock-up. I don't believe that's something that maybe they described they saw. Again, this other one, little tic tacs and little probes and little whatnots, all flying all over the place. What exactly does it tell us? Nothing. Tennessee Representative Tim Burchett, which is the one you saw talking to Joe Rogan in Alex Jones's clip, who has long been advocating for disclosure, said on X, "Remember the feds told us these files don't exist, and Donald Trump stood up to the deep state. The first drop will be big, but in comparison to what is coming, there will be a drop in the bucket. I would say, holy crap is coming." The newly released memo is an internal FBI document dated October 19th, 1966, sent from the Bureau's San Francisco office to FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover under the subject line Unidentified Flying Objects. It references earlier FBI bulletins on flying discs and was created to circulate an article titled Armed Forces, focus on UFO published in the San Francisco Examiner and Chronicle. The document discusses growing national controversy surrounding UFO sightings and specifically mentions future President Gerald Ford, who at the same time serving as a congressman and publicly calling for congressional hearings in UFO incidents. The meme also notes the Air Force had commissioned University of Colorado physicist Edward U. Condon to conduct a major government-backed study into flying saucers, estimated to cost $300,000 at that time, which is probably like a fucking million now with inflation, over 18 months. The major focus of the memo is the book Flying Saucers, Serious Business by Frank Edwards, which the FBI described as a possible contributor to the growing public fascination and controversy surrounding UFOs. The page is covered with FBI routing marks, stamps, handwritten notes, and file numbers showing the document was formally logged and circulated within the Bureau. So, a dramatic vertical red stamp reading X proof appears along the right side of the page, while additional stamps show, here's the page, originally classified, 1966, Flying Objects IS-X. States that author Edwards argued UFOs were space vehicles sent to observe activities on Earth and claimed the U.S. Air Force had deliberately withheld information and given misleading explanations because it fears a mass panic by the public if the public were told the truth. The book describes UFOs as polished metal objects radiating heat and light sufficient to have burned witnesses who were too near and emitting some force field that interferes with electromagnetic instruments and power sources, the document reads. Colors range from brilliant white to dull reds. There are 3 basic shapes. Zeppelin, shaped ships up to 300 feet long. 2, disc-shaped objects ranging from a few feet in diameter to 100 feet, with many reported about 30 feet in diameter. Egg-shaped objects, which according to the author are the ones most recently sighted. The report further stated the objects could move silently at fantastic speeds while also hovering motionless in midair before accelerating away with bursts of light from their undersides. In some cases, the file explained the ground beneath the objects was allegedly left scorched after takeoff. I've read those stories too. Many of the persons named in the book have been reported them are unreliable individuals, individuals including law enforcement officers, military personnel on official duty. I am aware of those accounts. Military pilots, commercial airline pilots, civilian defense officials, according to the FBI. Now, that's great, but we have their accounts. Now we're looking for, I want the smoking gun. Put it in my hand. I want the muzzle still hot. Show us the bodies. Show us the ships that you're supposed to have. That the guy that did that, and now I'm having a brain fart about his name. I think he's still alive to this day, and he was harassed big time for talking about that he alleged that he worked on the spaceships with gravitic drives in another area off of Area 51. So Area 51, allegedly, they test experimental gear, but the spaceships themselves are supposed to be, if they exist, are in a separate area that's like It's underground underneath a water source that's within the area of Area 51. And in addition to that, any of the crashed, broken remains and other pieces have been turned over to major military contractors. So Lockheed and Martin, stuff like that. I don't remember if it was them specifically, but they are supposed to have been bought the rights from the government in order to work on and cross use this technology. So it's with major military contractors and whatever is in that offshoot of Area 51. Everyone thinks everything's there at Area 51. I don't think it is. I think they test the new tech they've already run through there, maybe, but not the original shit itself. That's what some of the information seems to point to. So show the gravitic drive. There was an element one time, and it was and he again. Why do I think it's Langdon or something? No, fuck. Why can't, it's like the most popular one, and I can't remember the fucking name. It's gonna drive me nuts. So he says that there was an element that was found that ran the gravitic drives of the ships, and it was like element 115 or something like that. When I looked up that element, don't quote me because I don't remember 100%. When I looked up that element on the periodic table, it said it was a newly found element that was not native to Earth. That was real information that I found when I looked up the element he claimed. So he said the only reason we have a small amount that we can't replicate is because we got it from the gravitic drives of the recovered spaceships. So you need to show that shit. Give me 1 second. No, it's not him. No. Let me ask the AI. A famous guy who claimed he worked with UFOs and gravitic drives, and he made pictures of them showing what they look like.
It sounds like you're referring to Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar. Thank you. Okay, so Bob Lazar, and they did a documentary about him, interviewed him. He was harassed and chased by the government. They went after him. They went after his finances. They tried to ruin his life. And then they claimed, well, it wasn't that the UFO stuff was true. It's that he had access to top secret projects and he wasn't supposed to talk about the base or anything. That's the reason we're angry with him and he's in trouble. But they went after Lazar hardcore and they talked about the element. So let me bring it up again. Bob Lazar talked about an element that was used in the gravitic drives of the spaceships. What was the element that he claimed was used?
Bob Lazar claimed that the element used in the gravitic drives of the spaceships was element 115, which is also known as moscovium. According to him, this element was central to the propulsion systems of the alien craft and was capable of warping gravity.
Okay. It's called moscovium. I'm going to bring this up here. Element 115, officially named moscovium MC, as a synthetic, super heavy, highly radioactive element with atomic number 115. Discovery and naming. Moscovium was first synthesized in 2003 by a collaborative team of Russian and American scientists at the Joint Institute for Nuclear Research in Dubna, Russia, and the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in California. The element was created by bombarding americium-243 atoms with calcium-48 ions at a particular accelerator, producing only a few atoms at a time. It was officially recognized by the IUPAP in 2015, and the name Moscovian in 2016 after the Moscow region. Super heavy P block element in Crew 15, making it the heaviest cyanogen. Its chemical properties are largely theoretical due to its extreme instability. It is predicted to behave similar to bismuth and possibly thallium, with one loosely bound electron outside a quasi-closed shell. Moscovium is expected to be solid at room temperature, likely whitish gray in color and highly dense. All known isotopes of moscovium are extremely unstable. The most stable isotope, moscovium 290, has a half-life of only 0.65 seconds, while other isotopes like MC289 decay in roughly 220 milliseconds. Despite its fleeting existence, moscovium is of interest because it lies near the predicted island of stability where super heavy nuclei might have longer lifetimes, potentially allowing practical applications if more stable isotopes are discovered. So they happen to come with it on their own, or they use what they got from the ships to work on the experiments. Because at the time that I looked it up, unless I'm missing one, let me reference another one. Element 115 has also been popularized in UFO and conspiracy theories, particularly by Bob Lazar, who claimed it could power alien spacecraft. While these claims are speculative, why didn't you say these claims are false? The real element 115 is scientifically verified and extremely short-lived, making such applications impossible with current known isotopes. In summary, moscovium is a synthetic, highly radioactive, super heavy element notable for its fleeting existence, complex synthesis, and theoretical chemical properties, with ongoing research focused on understanding its behavior and potential for more stable isotopes. Now, I swear to God, at the time when I watched the Bob Lazar documentary, and I looked up this information, when it referenced element 115, it said this element is not known to anything that's on planet Earth. So the suggestion was they got it out of an asteroid that had hit the ground, and they had found the new element, or his story was real, and they got it from the substance that powers the gravitic drives of the ships, because we don't have the technology to recreate it, which is what they're attempting to do in this explanation. And they've only been able to keep it alive for 0.65 seconds before it deteriorated and they lost it. Whereas whatever's powering this technology is stable and allegedly running the ships. So this is the shit we need to see. This is the proof we need to see. Show the bodies, show parts of the ships, not this fucking shit. Potentially a spatial anomaly that they can see from the moon. And guys claiming that we got the space bull, and then and people claiming that it's Kalen Lee Raton, and they have equipment in their fucking living room, and that's how they communicate with him. And essentially, I think that he's a communist, which makes sense when it's like 1960s. It's ridiculous. Look, I want to believe, but if you want to be real, you have to be skeptical first. I need more than this. This is not smoking gun information. So if the second part that's coming out is going to give us more, that's what we need to see. We need to see more. So that's the gist of what is in the UFO files. If you would like to go there on your own, U.S. Department of War /UFO, and start going through all of this on your own, be my guest. It'll take me all fucking weekend to go through all of this shit. But there is nothing super substantive in this at all. These are stills. And that almost looks like a helicopter. I see rotor blades. There's two dots. Guy could have sneezed on the camera. It's rendering of somebody telling you what they saw in a field. Apollo missions. Little guy flying around. None of this is conclusive. I don't know about you guys, but I need more. All right, so that's what we got for the release of the UFO files today, and what little bit that I've skimmed the surface on, what I've seen in my own opinion and interpretation on what we're looking at right now. Thank you for all the new followers, viewers, subscribers that are coming on to X, to YouTube, to Rumble, and Kick. I'm getting on Kick as well. Thank you very much for all the new followers. I hope you're enjoying the show and you appreciate it. And I'll have more stuff coming up for you. Thanks, everyone.